goes just back to explaining the graph. So above shows the changes in stages of blood pressure with age. As you see, the healthy zone will increase as you age, which shows it's normal for older people to have a higher blood pressure. And that's basically it. So the changes which will occur with age to the respiratory system will include the decline in strength of the respiratory muscles, intercostals. Can I just start this again? So the changes which will occur with the age of the respiratory system will include a decline in the strength of the respiratory muscles, which are the intercostals, the diaphragm, which are used for breathing in, and the muscles for forced expiration, so that's the sternocleidomastoid, scalenes, and pectoralis minor. As a child and teenager, the respiratory muscles will have adapted to become strong enough to cope with their breathing required in everyday life. If the individual exercises this, then it will be more so. However, as you age past your 40s, muscular atrophy will begin to occur, and the muscles are unable to contract as forcibly. This will affect the individual, as forced expiration will not be able to happen, and therefore in situations where the individual needs to breathe rapidly, they'll be unable to do so, and they will feel short of breath. For example, as a footballer gets older, they will find they'll feel more out of breath in an activity which would have made them feel out of breath before they usually would, because your lungs cannot get the waste products out of the O2 quick enough get the waste products out and the oxygen in quick enough. The elasticity in your lungs will be very high when you're a baby. This is because there are large amounts of collagen which allows them to be flexible and elastic. Lungs will continue to have large amounts of this through puberty as you grow into a young adult. As you age past your 50s, your lungs begin to lose their elasticity, and as less collagen will be present. This will affect the performer because their lung volume will decrease and there will be less flexibility for them to expand. Therefore, they can't take in as much oxygen. For example, a 20-year-old footballer will be able to make a run from one side of the pitch to another without stopping to catch his breath, whereas an older player in his 40s may struggle to do this as his lungs are unable to take in as much oxygen each breath, and therefore he feels more tired and muscles burn from contracting with not enough oxygen, and will have to stop throughout the drive. As you get older, your ability to clear your airways will decline. This is due to muscles which are used to cough and sneeze germs out of the lungs becoming weaker and unable to contract at the large force needing to expel germs or whatever it is stuck in the lungs. For example, a younger footballer will be able to force a cough if he managed to swallow some mud after a rough tackle to get the mud back out, whereas a footballer around 45 may be unable to do this as his muscles are much weaker. Older people will also see a decline in their vital capacity as they age. This is the amount of air you can forcibly breathe in and out in one breath. As a young person, your vital capacity is usually quite low in relation to the largest it can become. This is because your thoracic cavity is smaller, just because you will be quite small in size and therefore have a smaller area in your cavity that your cavity can be in. As you grow and age, your thoracic cavity will increase in size, as will your lung capacity, and this will increase the amount of air which can fit into the cavity. As you get older, your vital capacity will decrease. This may be due to the thoracic cavity size being reduced due to osteopenia or shrinking, but also due to usage. The effects of this would be that less oxygen is able to fit into the lungs, and therefore less oxygen can be used for gas exchange. For example, an under 12 footballer will have a small body, and therefore his vital capacity will be much lower than that of a senior men's footballer. This means the under 12 will get out of breath a lot quicker, as he can only take in a smaller amount of oxygen and therefore has less to utilise, so will also tire quicker. When you are younger, your alveoli are relatively small because you're small and they grow with you in proportion. As you begin to use them, the alveoli will increase in size and elasticity to meet the demands of the individual gas exchange requirements. For example, if you are active, you will adapt to having more alveoli, and if you are inactive, just those you need to cope with everyday tasks. As you age past 45, the surface area of alveoli will decrease and the elasticity will decline. This will mean that gas exchange happens at a slower rate because there is less surface area for diffusion to take place over. This could mean that the amount of oxygen getting into your body decreases slightly. For example, an under 12 footballer will have a relatively small surface area for gas exchange and their alveoli will be small in number. Therefore, their legs tire fairly quickly, so their football games only last for half hour. Both ways, an older footballer, under 21, will have a large surface area of alveoli, therefore more diffusion of gases will take place, meaning they can utilise more oxygen, meaning that their muscles are supplied with oxygen for longer, so they are able to play games lasting 45 minutes both ways. The final change which will take place in the respiratory system is peak flow of an individual decreasing. This is the movement of air through your lungs. Generally, younger people tend to have a smaller peak flow as their respiratory muscles aren't as strong and developed as an adult's, and therefore they cannot muster enough force to push air through their system. This is why it is common for a lot of young people to be diagnosed with asthma. As you get older, your muscles will develop and become stronger, increasing your peak flow. However, once you pass 45, the muscles will begin to decline in strength and size, and therefore be less able to circulate air around your respiratory components again. For example, an under 21 footballer will have a large peak flow as their respiratory muscles were relatively strong. However, an over 50s footballer will have a considerably low peak flow as his respiratory muscles would have deteriorated and become unable to contract at such high forces to have a high peak flow. To delay the changes which can occur to the respiratory system with age, individuals can do diaphragmatic exercises, which will maintain the strength of the diaphragm and surrounding muscles used for breathing in and out. Regular exercise is also maintained. Regular exercise also maintains the muscles and the number and elasticity of alveoli, as it keeps them working more often. Interval and fartlek training would be most effective with this, because it would allow the individual to regulate their breathing. Using a power breathe mask or any resistance to breathing will also work to delay the changes, as it makes the respiratory system work harder and therefore maintain adaptations taking place. Above is a graph showing the changes of vital capacity as an age increases. If you follow the never smoked or not susceptible line, red dotted, you can see there is a natural decline. So it starts here and it goes down to here. Cool. So we're on to metabolism now, which is the process the body uses to convert food into energy. It is increased with exercise but will remain constant through inactivity. When you are younger, your metabolism will be naturally high due to growth and hormone changes. Therefore, when you have finished puberty, the metabolism will adjust depending on the activity levels you have. If you're regularly active and exercising, it will be high, but if you're inactive and lazy, it will reduce. This is why many young adults can easily put on weight after they finish growing, as their body requires less energy to complete its basic processes because it's not growing anymore. As you age past 45, thermogenesis, which is what the process of converting food into energy is called, will remain fairly constant, meaning that the amount of energy your body converts from food is not greatly altered. However, due to changes in body composition and muscle mass, your body will require less energy to function because muscle takes more energy to function and more of what you have is fat. This will affect the individual because it decreases their BMR, which is basic metabolic rate, and that's the amount of calories you're required for basic function, and therefore less calories were required to carry out these basic functions. This means that individuals will be more likely to gain weight. For example, a younger netballer will require lots of food during season and out of season because she is regularly burning a lot of energy, and therefore her body will become used to this and her metabolism is naturally faster. This differs from an older netballer who, although plays once a week, will have a lower BMR because her body requires less energy to power as her muscle mass has decreased, and she may be likely to put on weight if she carries on eating as much when she's not playing. To prevent the changes that can occur with age to metabolism, the individual can remain active. They may need to do more exercise to gain weight. They may need to do more exercise to gain the same adaptations and to burn more calories as the amount for their day-to-day functioning because their day-to-day functioning has decreased. They should also weight and strength train to maintain muscle mass, preventing fat mass from developing. Reducing food intake will also prevent any weight changes because they have less excess to burn once their basic amount has already been used by the body. The graph above shows a natural decline in metabolism with age. The curve will be higher on the scale if the exercise is maintained. So instead of being here, it will just be here. So body composition, this is the percentage of fat, muscle and bone. When you're younger, you'll have a lean body with a low percentage of fat as your metabolism is high due to growing. As you age past 40, your fat percentage will increase. Males will tend to put this on around their abdominals and middle areas, and women basically everywhere. The effect of this can be that it can increase the individual's chances of cardiovascular disease and diabetes due to having more weight around their body, and by having a higher fat percentage, the individual's metabolism will change. For example, as a rugby player ages, their ability to build muscle decreases, therefore excess weight is put on around their middle, making the majority mesomorph somatotype shift towards an endomorph one. A second change in the body composition, which occurs with age, is the fat decrease for individuals around 75 to 80 years. This will occur because as you reach those high ages, your body begins to require all the energy you put in, as easier tasks require more energy to complete. Therefore, there is less excess to put on. The effect of this is that you'll begin to lose weight, and because of this, the metabolism of the individual will change as well. For example, an old man in his 80s may find he begins to lose weight as he ages, which affects his golfing performance as he is weaker and has less energy to put into his swings. To delay the effects of aging on body composition, the individual should manipulate their diet to balance out when their metabolism requires more energy and when it doesn't. More is needed throughout childhood, puberty and old age, and less is needed as a young adult when you're middle-aged. A second way, when I say middle-aged, I kind of mean like 20s to 30s. A second way to delay these changes is by regularly exercising. This will delay the effects of age on the body composition because it regulates your metabolism, and regular exercise will mean that you'll regularly need more calories. Back to the middle age thing, I think also probably like into your 40s and 50s. Sorry, Lens. So, sorry, I didn't explain this graph. So basically, I've got a second change. So a second change. I haven't got a second change. No, I haven't. Sorry. So the graph shows that as you age, the proportion of body fat increases slightly. So in this area here, it starts quite low. Obviously, women are higher because we're at a disadvantage in life. As you get into your 45s and 50s, your fat will increase, and this will even increase with male. And when you hit your 65s, it will start to decrease again because you start needing the energy. I'm just going to stop here because I can't rush this metabolism bit in 40 seconds. So